Hey guys, I'm Clark, I'm 30 years old, and today I'm going to tell you a story about my life and how it shifted from wealth to poverty. My family was economically stable with adequate levels of external resources. We lived in a decent neighborhood with decent education. There were a lot of opportunities offered to me by society, and capability deprivation was never a problem. But unfortunately, I didn't realize how privileged I was at the time. I started gambling when I was a child, when I was no older than 14 years old. I would make wagers with my friends at school for small amounts of money. I lost most of the time, which made me want to bet even more. I soon felt the exhilaration and excitement of the games increase as the size of the bet was increased. I was hooked very young. After high school, I didn't want to attend university, as education wasn't really my main concern. Nevertheless, I was pushed into it by my parents. I managed to survive for a year, but eventually I couldn't take it anymore and dropped out. Although my parents were really disappointed with my decision, they still helped me financially at first. As time elapsed, I started experiencing the uglier sides of my addiction, as I started losing a lot of my parents' money to gambling, which led them to kick me out of the house. I didn't really grasp the caliber of my losses at first, since I obtained the money really easily. Living on the streets made me feel bad about myself and regret a lot of my decisions. I wasn't able to buy any food or new clothes since all my money was spent feeding my addiction. The deeper my addiction developed, the more and more I spiraled from relative poverty more towards its absolute sense, reaching the level of actually looking for food in garbage bins and going to restaurants begging for the leftovers. It was only then when I realized I hit rock bottom. Looking back at my life, although I had a lot of economic, political, and social advantages with no systematic barriers, I ended up making bad life decisions. I still regret these decisions pretty much every day of my life, and by this video, I hope to prevent you all from making the same mistakes I did.
Hi, my name is Suleiman Bakayoko, and I'm going to tell you my life as a war refugee. I come from a small village close to Juba in South Sudan. I had a peaceful and modest life, living with my parents and my three brothers. My dad had a cow farm, and I always dreamed of taking it over since I was a little boy. But my life took a turnover when civil war broke out in 2013. This war started because of remaining tensions regarding the independence of the country, the overall poverty, and the disagreement between the president and the vice president. Rebels came into my village and killed my whole family in front of my eyes. I ran, and I never came back. I was 18 back then. From that moment, I had to take care of myself, and so I decided to flee to Europe. I managed to take a bus to Libya and catch a boat to go to Lampedusa. When arriving on Italian soil, I really realized that life was taken from me, and I was brutally deprived from the joys of life and the freedom I had. I was happy back then, but now I don't have anything. I stayed 6 months in a refugee camp. It was miserable. We were treated like animals, we did not get the medical aid required, and food was scarce. So, that's why I decided to accept the first place offered, and I was transferred to Warsaw and Poland. When I arrived there, I was relieved in a way because I escaped for good the conflicts in my hometown and I felt safe. However, life was tough in the beginning because we could only stay 3 weeks in the apartment I had to share with 7 other guys. For more than 3 months, I lived on the streets. I begged for money as I could not find a job because I was not speaking the language. And honestly, Warsaw was horrible. The Polish people were discriminating me because I was black, and they did not even try to understand my situation. That was so frustrating. The government did not do anything to help me, and that's why I moved to the countryside. Now I live in a small cottage near Lubis, and I work as a farmer with a Polish family. I really feel accepted here, and I'm satisfied with my life now. Thank you for listening to my story.